Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Great Malabite Ifeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning.
Good morning, Victoria Tundu MQ Abiola.
Good morning.
All black. The name of the New Zealand rugby team.
Yeah.
But
All
it looks
black.
good on you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, quite a sobering one. In most bestial, horrific manner, Ipob, Beheads, Cannibalises 2 police officers. Their action is unacceptable, says federal government. Northern Elders Forum kicks against Kanu's release. I just read the first paragraph of that story as written by This Day. A disturbing, hard to watch 2 minutes and 8 seconds video of how the Eastern Security Network, the acclaimed security wing of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, celebrated the abduction and beheading of 2 out of 3 police officers has surfaced online, causing shock and disbelief across the social space. This is most horrific, that these policemen were abducted by Ipob, and according to the report, on instruction of their leader. The names of these policemen, Mohammed, let me get the names again, because, yes, ASP Francis Idoko, Inspector Emmanuel Akubo, and Inspector Rufai Adamu. 3 policemen are hearts and sympathies to the families of these policemen and indeed to the Nigerian police as an organization. What these young men, who obviously are either deranged or were very high on something, whether you call it pomeri or methamphetamine, which is very popular in that part of the country, what they have done cannot be excused. In any society, even prehistoric society, you don't behead somebody and dance around with fire as if you want to roast the head. That in itself can pass for crime against humanity. Yes, crime against humanity. Because the Encyclopedia Britannica states clearly that any action that shocked the conscience of humanity can pass as crime against humanity. And this fall in that category. And I expect to see here torrents of condemnation from that part of the country. This is not the time for anybody to say we are afraid of Ipob. We condemn this totally, and the government must use every instrument available, every means available to fish out those behind this dastardly act and bring them to book accordingly. And for Ipob, if there is any iota of sympathy for their cause outside their catchment geographical area, clearly actions like this will wipe up such sympathy. And those who are saying they should seek a political solution must also come out to condemn what these people have done. Eastern Security Network, wing of Ipob. Yes, I agree with Ruben that when anybody is beheaded, whether it's a policeman, whether it's a civilian, under any guise, the government must come out as strongly as this. This is condemnable, and it is unacceptable in a society like ours. Ruben, Rufai, and Tudu, I leave you to say something on this.
I mean, This is beyond murder most foul. It's completely reprehensible. And I agree with what you've both said about the fact that we've always had insecurity in Nigeria. We've always had really quite harrowing news that we hear. But now it's really beyond the pale. What is happening recently is increasingly shocking in depravity, in monstrosity. And this, for me, is really a nadir. And then the federal government coming out to say that the perpetrators will be caught, will be, penalized, is all very reassuring. It's wonderful, and I'm sure that they will be caught and penalized. They must be, actually. They have to be. But those are just the symptoms, isn't it? The root cause of this kind of wickedness from one human being to another has not been addressed, is not being addressed, and it has to be. It's really across the country. Name a part of Nigeria now that's some kind of oasis of calm. It doesn't exist. It's really beyond the pale.
I mean, the shocking thing about this barbarity for me is I'm not sure the perpetrators of this very destructive act spared a thought for the families of these men when they were beheading them. We have become animals. We don't even have respect for our basic humanity any longer.
Well, some, not everybody. That's why we are shocked.
Yeah.
Because we are not animals.
Some. We don't even have respect for the common ethos that binds all of us as human beings. And like Tundu said, check every part of this country. Across the large swath of 923,000 square kilometers of land we have. Across the seas, from the Nigers to the Benways, to every river that inundates this country. It is chaos everywhere. At a point in time, we have never talked about polarization like we are talking about polarization now. Barbarity, chaos, anarchy is right here. But in all of this, I know strongly that we can come out of this. But we must ask ourselves the very strong questions. That are we ready to put hands together to come out of this? Are we ready to stay true to the cause of our nation? And are we ready to shun evil when we see evil? Dr. Abati enunciated a point of view while he was speaking about this morning, that some people will also argue across different lines, tribal lines. That should not be the case. This is barbarity. And until the day we all come together to call a spade as regards evil, we'll never move forward. So we condemn this in its entirety. We urge the federal government of Nigeria to fish out the killers and let them face the full wrath of the law. But it is time for us to look inward in our country. One too many stories of violence and killings. The other day was a prison break in Jos. Every part of this country, from Monikolobo in Abeokuta to Potiskum, up in the north, we're in crisis. But we can't save Nigeria.
Well, in addition to the preliminary comments I made on this subject earlier on, I think about barbarity, man's inhumanity to man, and the need for justice, and how to prevent this kind of situation. I think the only thing that needs to be added is the fact that, look, we're dealing here with persons in uniform, policemen. Once upon a time in this country, we were told that the police is your friend. So this raises questions. What is it that has gone so terribly wrong in Nigeria in terms of the relationship between the state and the individual and stakeholders, and between uniformed persons and the people, such that what you now find is an adversarial relationship between some Nigerians and uniformed persons. In 2020, it was #EndSARS protest. Now, after the report was issued, there have been persons who have said, oh, nobody even spared a thought for the policemen who were killed in the process, the policemen that were attacked, and others who lost their lives. What is it that has gone wrong? And also, about 2 weeks ago, there was this report about conflict between soldiers and members of either Ipob or ESN, also in Anambra State. And now you have policemen being beheaded. So something really has gone fundamentally wrong in terms of the trust, the relationship between uniformed persons who are paid with taxpayers and who are to protect taxpayers. And now you have the people turning against those same persons who have elected to serve the country and make the sacrifice for the country and protect all of us. That in itself is the most disturbing part of it, in addition to the ethnic coloration of the entire narrative and the fact that Nigerians are no longer shocked by tragedy and the unusual. We seem to be getting to a new level whereby tragedy is becoming a new normal. That's something that has gone wrong. Are we going through some kind of a national mass psychosis? You know, a certain kind of psychosis that is a psychological problem, not just for individuals, but also for the entire collective. But I understand we need to take a short break. Emmanuel Efeni, stay with us, don't go away. Immediately after this break, the review of newspapers from around the world will continue. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Emmanuel Efeni, the great Malabite, is still here with a review of newspapers from around the world.
Yes,
Emmanuel Efeni, back to you.
Ruben, just before I move to other newspapers, you know, those who are quick to shoot down the reports of the Lagos NSAS panel are in the habit of pushing this narrative. Nobody spared a thought for the policemen who were killed. Recall that the names of all those policemen have been published by the police authorities, and the mandate of that panel was clear. Their terms of reference was clear, and that was what they dealt with. But I also want to put on record that this day newspaper devoted an edition of style to all the policemen who were killed, their names, their photographs, and tribute to their gallantry as officers of the police force. So it is not true that nobody talks about policemen who were killed. It's condemnable because to die in your line of duty, yes, policemen die in the course of fighting with armed robbers and other criminals. But to deliberately target policemen for killing is condemnable at any time. And that is in the light in which we are condemning this very dastardly recent act by Ipob and its affiliate, the Eastern Security Network. Now, we move over to other newspapers.
Well, before you go, I must say that I find it this day headline a bit too shocking, though.
Yes.
Bestial, horrific, Beheads, Cannibalises.
Because it is
dripping with blood.
Yes, because that is what it is. For the records, we have to say it as it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Now, the Guardian newspaper. World Health Organization flags Omicron high risk as businesses react. Set to hammer out global pandemic strategy, vaccine equity agreement. AFDB suspends African Investment Forum due to travel restrictions. FG, federal government monitoring, says no case detected yet. PSC, variant may be on its way to Nigeria. Government to issue new travel guidelines today. Insists federal civil servants must show evidence of being vaccinated tomorrow. Yes, you know, and of course, the Leadership newspaper is reporting that story. COVID-19 vaccination mandate for federal workers begins. Yes, as 3 Nigerian travelers detected with Omicron variant in Canada, Hong Kong. Continue to observe COVID-19 protocols. NCDC tells Nigerians, we are looking for answers. World Health Organization. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, Omicron COVID. We are on alert. Don't be aloof. Federal government wants. The Punch newspaper, Omicron variant. Travel bans loom as Canada dictates Nigerian-linked cases. Federal government threatens stiffer punishment for travelers with fake coronavirus vaccination card. Sending samples to South Africa, disgraceful, shows NCDC lacks national pride. Professor Tomori is the one saying that. And if Professor Tomori is speaking on this matter. You just listen and take action to correct the misdeed. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, COVID-19, last-minute rush as federal government bans on vaccinated workers tomorrow. Other stories, the Daily Sun newspaper, fireworks in APC. Party denies zoning chairmanship to North Central. Youth announce sack of Governor Buni-led caretaker committee. We won't join issues with paid, misguided groups. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, also on APC. Confusion in APC as factional caretaker committee emerges. Sacked Buni, sacked in quote, Buni-led committee fixes convention for February 26. Their action is felonious. Say, now, the New Telegraph, federal government's political solution. Yoruba leaders, groups disagree on Sunday. Igboho will soon meet president for his release, says Yoruba Council of Elders. Now, the foreign newspapers quickly. The Times of London. Scramble to get jab. Million more eligible for booster as threat from Omicron variant grows. Yes, the National Health Services bosses are scrambling to put the COVID vaccination booster program on steroids after 13 million more people were made eligible yesterday amid a looming wave of Omicron variant. Now, the Daily Telegraph, quoting President Joe Biden, no cause for panic. President says new restrictions should not be necessary to deal with Omicron as UK returns to mask and travel curbs. Yes, I like that assurances being given by President Biden. In his words, the variant is a cause for concern, not a cause for panic. And he went on to add, if people are vaccinated, wear their mask, there is no need for lockdown. But I think we'll continue to watch the situation. While the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the CDC, that's the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States, saying that their recommendation for booster has been further enhanced by this new wave of the coronavirus. Ruben Rufai and Tundu.
So concerning the Omicron variant, two things I'd like to say. Number one, yes, viruses will mutate. But who makes these viruses mutate? Human beings. By not taking the preventative precautions, like wearing your face mask, washing your hands, and all of that. Because I believe if the mass population wears their face mask, the virus will not even get from one body to the other body, then it will, before it even finds room to mutate. So it goes back to those basic things, those basic hygiene we have talked about. Washing your hands, wearing face masks, and the likes. But the question is, I would have thought, with the low vaccination rate in Lagos State, as you know, seen by that NCDC list about state vaccination uptake.
Okay, by the way, my state, my state of residence, Ogun, the best.
MPHCD.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing
I saw Tundu trying to thumb her chest. You reside in Lagos, please. Yes. You took your job in Lagos. I took mine in my state of residence, Ogun State. We are doing well.
We're doing well.
But I hope you pay tax in Ogun State.
Yes, I pay tax. In fact,
because we have issues with people like you who live in Ogun State.
No.
Enjoy Ogun State facilities, but you pay your tax in Lagos.
No, Ruben, you are not even up to date. All these days staff, all around staff who live Ogun State, we have since moved our taxes, that is paid now, from Lagos to Ogun State.
Okay.
Long time ago, Ogun State have been enjoying my tax.
Okay.
And by the way, I just received my tenement rate. I'm going to pay. Thank you.
Very good. So,
thank you for letting us know on international TV that you are a landlord. So, congratulations.
You'll be surprised if I was not one after how many years we left University of Ruben.
So, as I was saying, somebody would have thought that at this point in time, we should have started enforcing the mask mandate again. with this Omicron we've seen. Yes, it's good to cancel big events, but canceling big events without enforcing the mask mandate is akin to putting a golden ring on a pig's snot. Because what will stop this virus from going from one person to the other is the mask.
Yes.
And we've seen that it works.
And Professor Tomori made that point very well yesterday.
We've seen...
Just like you move with your mobile phone, you also carry the virus.
Your mobile phone is not mobile.
If you don't move, your mobile phone will not move.
You make your mobile...
The virus will not move from you.
You make your mobile phone mobile. Second thing is, those numbers, yes, we can celebrate Ogun State and other states, but those numbers are still low.
Very low.
Very low.
Yes.
And that's why you see the thing about success is it's relative. And we should be careful of the relativity of success. Yes, we can beat our chest, we've done a good deal in Ogun State. Or 3% of the targeted, not the general population, 3% of the targeted population. So more work has to be done.
A lot of work.
We need to take that vaccine to the marketplace. We need to sell that vaccine. If possible, hire bosses, hire, what's it called, PR bosses, go on the streets.
Use town criers.
Use town criers.
Or just give them jollof rice.
Give them jollof rice. Make a big party. This is the time government should bring out money. People should be cooking firewood jollof rice now. Take your vaccine.
Take your shot, you get your
jollof rice. Because food is very important in this country. So this is the time we should be doing that.
We need to do more.
But we are not doing anything. That's what saddens me.
We are not doing enough. Not that we're not doing
what
enough.
has been established so
Not
far,
quite enough.
an emerging consensus from the WHO to the US to the UK, is that, look, the way to fight this new variant or any other variant that may show up is still through vaccination. And that's why you have in the UK, booster jabs being the way forward. And even 12 to 15-year-olds are now being put into that bracket to take very quickly the second jab. And anybody who is above 18, the period for taking the jab has been, for the booster jab has been reduced from 6 months to 3 months. But even then, vaccination, yes, highly recommended for Nigeria, because in my view, I don't think we've done enough. Even with the MPACDA coming up.
Certainly we have not done
coming up with a chart. We need to do a lot more. We need to conscientize the people more. And it looks like Nigerians gave up long ago on COVID. Every weekend, everywhere is jam-packed with people, having parties. Well, it's good news. They've postponed the Lagos Festival for this year. In Cross River, the Calabar Carnival is also going to be postponed and all of that. But a lot more needs to be done. And even then, there are challenges. Take the UK that you talked about. You said scramble. The NHS website is already overwhelmed with people going there to register to see how they can get that booster jab. And the NHS now is even calling for a volunteer vaccination army. Would they be able to get it? The target for the UK is 500,000, jabs per day, 3.5 million per week. And there, even as the country says, well, we can handle it, there are anxieties that they may not be able to deliver that till maybe end of December. And then come to think of, third world countries, poor countries, vulnerable countries. So that's why when President Biden says, well, we should not panic. Well, maybe there are other parts of the world where there will be need for panic, and which is why the point by Ghebreyesus comes in, the need for global solidarity.
That is the bottom
How
line.
can the privileged parts of the world help the underprivileged?
That's really it.
I know the long-term objective is for these poor countries to develop capacity, but that's not something that can be done overnight.
Exactly.
In the face of an emergency.
Yes.
This, pandemic, this coronavirus has shown us that anything can happen. It is Omicron today. Who knows what that other variant will be tomorrow, with people not taking the necessary precautions, observing the necessary protocols. And I hope somebody, either in the Ministry of Information or the National Orientation Agency, will help to inform Nigerians that there is a new variant And that new variant we're told is not yet in Nigeria. Well, I don't know what the NCDC is doing. They say they're engaged in surveillance, they are doing research. But we've been told 3 cases in Canada, in Ontario, Canada, came from Nigeria. Indonesia has added Nigeria to its list of, countries from which, from which visits have been suspended. Is there something that they know in Indonesia or that they know in Canada that the NCDC in Nigeria needs to know?
And I want to say the conversation about boosters has not even begun when we're talking about Ogun State winning the little gold medal with 3%. Yeah. Those of us who rushed to take our vaccines are now around 6 months out. Where are boosters? It's very concerning.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.